These are all the things that you needed to memorize. And I just turned the microphone on. So what I have over there on the board is all the things you should have memorized to this point. And we're going to go over the quiz. Number 1. Which of the following is secant theta? Well, secant is a reciprocal of cosine. Cosine of that angle would be adjacent over hypotenuse, 24 over 26. But I want secant, I want the reciprocal, 26 over 24, or 13 over 12. And that's the letter C. Problem number 2. Which of the following angles is coterminal with negative 140? Well, I'm going to have a positive, so you can throw out A and C. So the choice would be add 360 degrees there, and you would get 220. Those two angles are coterminal. For number 3, point P is located at the intersection of a circle with a radius of 10 and a terminal side of 330. All right, so we're going to use this up here. R, which is the radius, is 10. To find the x-coordinate, R cosine theta. Reference angle is 30 degrees. What is cosine of 30 degrees? Okay, we should know that. It's square root of 3 over 2. All right, and now we're expected to know that. Square root of 3 over 2. So it's radius times cosine of 30. 330 degrees is in the fourth quadrant. Cosine is positive in the fourth quadrant. That's your x-coordinate. And that's all you really needed to know, because if you look at your choices, there's only one possible thing it could be, and that's the letter D. Okay? Number 4. And check your test. Give the measure of each angle to the nearest degree. Did you do that? And the length of each side to the nearest tenth. Did you do that? All right. Well, I'm given this triangle with a 56-degree angle, and the adjacent side is being 10. Well, this angle up here then would be 34. Well, I think I'm going to use tangent in order to find this side right here. I'll use tangent. Because tangent of 56 degrees is equal to opposite, which is that check mark, and we'll put y, over the adjacent, which is 10. Multiply both sides by 10. 10 times tangent of 56 degrees. And we will get 14.8. And that's what this side is. And now I can use Pythagorean theorem to find the third side. I could use cosine, I could use sine to find the hypotenuse, whatever you want to do there. Okay? The next one you have 15 and 7. And I don't know which one you wanted to find. If you want to find this angle here, because I'm given opposite and hypotenuse, I'm going to use sine. So the sine of that angle is equal to 7 over 15. How do we find that? Use your inverse function. Second sine 7/15. And you'll get, I don't know if it's 28 or 62. It's 28. So you get 28 degrees. That means this is 62 degrees. Some of you put 30 and 60, and I thought that was a guess. I didn't give you credit for that. And then you can find the third side up here by Pythagorean theorem. Number 6. reference angle is 85 degrees. Draw a picture. Let's draw a picture. Here's 90 degrees. There's 95 degrees. What's the reference angle? 85. For number 7, it is 70 degrees. Number 8, 35 degrees. Okay. Draw a picture, I think it helps. Find the exact values of the 6 trig functions. (7) and (-24). Well, I know that sine is y over r. Well, here's your y value, so (-24) over r. What do you have to do to find r? Pythagorean theorem. You don't have to whisper. X squared plus y squared equals r squared. All right, and that's one of the things that we had to learn. That's this one right here. So x squared plus y squared equals r squared. 49 plus 4, 576. R squared equals 625. The radius is 25. So (-24) over 25. Cosine is the x value over the radius. Tangent is the y value over the x value. And you notice the positives and negatives take care of themselves. And then the reciprocal functions. Cosecant is 25 over (-24). Cosine is 25 over 7. Cotangent is (-7 over 24). That problem was worth 4 points. So we've got 2 x's there, 2 points for each x. Everything on the first page is worth 2 points. All right, that was 22 points on the first page. Do you have any questions for me on the first page? All right. How long did that take? I'm guessing about 10 minutes. If you knew everything up here, if you memorized everything up here, that first page should take you about 10 minutes. The second page of the quiz, I think, well, 10 to 15 minutes. The second page, another 10 to 15 minutes. So I thought if you knew everything there, and some of you did, you get done about a half hour with this quiz. 1 through 6 are all special angles. If you got them marked wrong, you saw why they were wrong. If you got a complete line through it, everything was wrong. If I wrote 1/2 there, I put the reason why, and usually it had to do with quadrants. It should have been negative, they should have been positive. Okay? 7 through 12. We use this up here. Radius was 1, so all you had to do is cosine theta for your x value, sine theta for your y value, because your radius is 1 in a unit circle. So for the first problem, all you do in the calculator is cosine 70, sine 70, and round your answer to the nearest 100. Did you do that? If you got them switched, x's and y's switched, I took a half point out for each one. That's why I think I wrote -3 and then circled it. That's if you got the x's and y's switched. So each one I give you half credit on that. 13 through 15 use reference angles. For number 16, secant of 100. Calculator doesn't do secant. But secant is a reciprocal of cosine. It's a reciprocal. 1 over cosine of 100. That's all you had to do. Round to the nearest thousandths. -5.759. Number 17. Cosecant is 1 over sine. 1 over sine of 200. That's all you had to do in your calculator. Round your answer to the nearest thousandths. Number 18. 1 over tangent of 89. Okay. You have any questions for me at all on the quiz? Okay. All right. Today's lesson. We'll try to make this as painless as possible for you. If I were you, and I told this to one of my other classes, if I were you, I would have a notebook or something in your binder, something, where you would write down, we just went over the quiz, where you would write down now everything I have on the board. That's everything I think you need to know to memorize, at least for that quiz. We've got some other things with linear speed, angular speed, and that kind of thing, which we'll review on Friday tomorrow. And I have that somewhere on one sheet of paper, and I guess that's what I'm trying to tell you, so that you can kind of refer to it. All right. I'll put this and not moving on. All right. Today's lesson. This is the last section, 13.6. Pretty easy. Again, it's going to go back to that chart. If I tell you, it's hot in here, isn't it? Open those straight. No. Turn the handle first to open. Yeah, no. Turn. Okay, now close. Pull it over from the handle to your right. Keep going. Keep going. All right, can you open those windows? You know what? I'm going to have to pause this because I think these boys are going to need some help. I know. Hold on a minute. Let me pause. All right. All right, we got the window open. That was major. Okay. Let me ask you this. What that means is, I want to know the sine of what angle is 1/2. Tell me. Sine of what angle is 1/2? 30 degrees. Very good. Okay. How do you know it's 30? Could it be 390 degrees? I mean, really, if you take a look, yeah, 30 degrees. Could be. But if I rotated it around again, coterminal, that's another 360. So it could be 390 degrees. What if I rotated it to the negative 360 degrees? It'd be negative 330. Could it be that? Yeah. So we don't know. So what we have to do, plus all rotations of 360 degrees times k. K is an integer. So it could be positive rotations or it could be negative rotations. We don't know. By the way, the answers in the back of the book, they look like this. So it'll say in the back of the book, 30 degrees plus n 360. And that's the same thing. N is an integer. I put 360k. That's the way I learned it. Either way, I don't care. All right. Can you think of another angle where it's 300, where it's sine of that angle is 1/2? Okay, well, all rotations of 360, yeah. But what else? Not negative 30, because that would be in this quadrant, and sine's negative.
Negative 3.
Now, negative 330 would be in this quadrant, and sine is negative in this quadrant, not positive.
Cosine's
Now, cosine, 150. Because sine is positive in that second quadrant, reference angle of 30, but I don't want that one. I want that angle, which is 150. So it could also be 150 degrees plus 360 degree n, or k. Oh, it's so much nicer with those windows open, isn't it? I didn't realize it was so hot in here until we opened those windows. Okay? So for these problems, for most of them, you're going to have two answers. For most. What about cosine of 180? Cosine of what angle? Negative 1. There's only one, and that's 180. There's only one. It's right on the x-axis. Okay. Plus 360k. So if it's on the axis, you're only going to have one rotation. Because nowhere else, it's at that point right there, at nowhere else is cosine of an angle negative 1, only at 180. Okay? Let's take another one. I think it's helpful to draw a picture. Students that were having trouble, when I helped them individually, and I drew a picture for them, just a x, y, it was much easier until you get used to this. How about this? Cosine inverse of negative 1/2. Cosine, forget the negatives for right now. Let's draw a picture anyway. And let's make this, instead of 1/2, we're going to make it, it's real easy to do, negative square root of 2 over 2. Okay? Now, where is cosine negative? Which quadrant? 2 and 3. Okay? Remember that all those things I had you memorize. What's positive and what's negative in which quadrant? Second and third, cosine's negative. Now, cosine of what angle is square root of 2 over 2? 45 degrees. In this quadrant and this quadrant, where the reference angle is 45 degrees. Where the reference angle is 45 degrees. But I don't want the reference angle. What I'm looking for is this angle, which is what?
135.
135 plus 360k, or n360 as the book says. And then what is that angle? What is it? 225 plus the 360k, or n360. But sometimes I think if you draw a picture, it helps. And then refer to this here, and refer to your chart there. Things that you already have learned and have already memorized. Was that Mr. Scheidler who just snuck in here? Wavell snuck in and Scheidler snuck in. Do you know why they snuck in? I probably shouldn't put it on the website, but I will. Because every Thursday, our little group here in South Wing, 3rd floor, I have assigned everybody to bring in donuts every Thursday. And today was my day. Actually, I had to do it for 2 weeks because Shinkonas kind of, we had to switch. And we're covered until now, until the last Thursday of the school year. So they were sneaking into my office to get donuts. I think for the third time, but I'm not sure. I don't want to say that, but I think maybe for the third time. Okay. Do we think we got that? That's half your lesson. The other half. It's even easier. Yes. Do you notice anything different about the way I wrote this? It's what? S is capitalized. If it's capitalized, I don't want rotations. All I want is the main value. Sine of what angle is 1/2? 30. Oops. I want to capitalize now.
Wait, you don't want rotations? You want what?
No rotations.
What about this? You want what though?
30 degrees. If it's positive, it's going to be in the first quadrant. That's it. Don't go in any other quadrant. Cosine of what angle is 1/2? 60 degrees. Tangent inverse of 1/2 is what? Tangent of what angle? Oh no, it's not. Couldn't be 1/2, could it? How about this? 1. 45 degrees. So if you're just in that first quadrant, and they're all going to be special angles. Okay? Easy enough. If it's capitalized, we just want first quadrant if it's positive. Let's do negative. Capitalized. So here, all positive. Capitalized. Negative. Sine of what angle is 1/2? We already determined it's 30 degrees, but I want negative. So we're going to go in the fourth quadrant. I know it's negative in the third, but we don't care. It's negative in the fourth. So we're just going to put negative 30 degrees. A negative 30 degree rotation will be right here, right? Cosine of negative 1/2. Let's hold off on the cosine for just a minute. And let's do tangent negative 1/2. I know tangent of 45 degrees is 1. Tangent of negative 45, not 1/2, sorry, is negative 45 degrees. We'll also go in the first quadrant and fourth quadrant. Cosine, inverse cosine. I can't go in that fourth quadrant. Cosine's positive. So I'm going to use the second quadrant. Cosine of what angle is 1/2? 60 degrees. That's your reference angle. I've got to go in the second quadrant. So 120. I want that angle. And you know what's the nice thing about this? These are called principal values. I don't want any rotations. I'm only looking for one answer here if it's capitalized. All right. Now, what's nice about this is that your calculator will do it all. All you have to do, if you plug into your calculator, second cosine 1/2. Negative 1/2, I'm sorry. It will spit out for you 120. That's all you have to do. You have to be in degrees. Yeah, to get a weird decimal, you're not in degrees. If you hit second tangent -1, you'll get -45. If you hit second tangent 1, you'll get +45. So your calculator will do all of these problems if they're capitalized. Okay? All right. Your homework. It's going to be on page 871 and 872, 12 through 44 all, and 47 through 50 all. That's your homework. We will review on Friday, tomorrow, and we'll review on Monday. Tuesday is our test. You have a question, Michelle?
Yes.
I understand. I'll do that in a second. Okay?